It's Christmas in Memphis, and you're Elvis Presley. So you jump in your car, you head on down to Beale Street, try to find that perfect gift for everybody. That is until the lights are on at Sun Records, so you get out, you go in, you make history. But who's the missing person? And who's that mystery girl with you? Stick around and find out. It's all up on the ELVIS Impact, and it starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
And that is the rest of the story.
The rest of the story.
Who is that?
Paul Harvey.
That's right.
Good day. Okay.
You doing okay?
Scene.
And you doing okay tonight?
I'm doing okay.
Good. I haven't seen you in a while. Everything okay?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Really good. All fine here.
All fine here. Well, welcome everybody. This is the first episode, the actual first episode of the ELVIS Impact. Welcome in. We are going to talk about a crazy chance meeting. Began as a early Christmas season night in December of 1956, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. Correct. And started off at Sun Studios down in Memphis, honey. Started off down...
He's here for the whole show,
yes,
folks.
All day. Don't forget to tip your waiters and waitresses.
Try the veal.
Of course, yeah. Thank you.
And scene.
And scene. Thank you. Thanks for coming, everybody.
So, December 4th, 1956.
December 4th, 1956, yes. So, it started off Sun Studios as an actual recording session for cue the first gentleman of this story, Carl Perkins. Mm-hmm. Carl, at the time, was... also basically getting known, I guess, if you will, at this point around the same time that Elvis was. Mm-hmm. But this was a recording session for Carl. Sam Phillips was there to produce the recording session. And as that was getting started, I guess things weren't really going too well as far as sound and things like that?
Yeah, he wanted to liven up a little bit, so he called in his buddy.
He called in his buddy, cue in gentleman number 2, which this gentleman is... often known as the killer, Jerry Lee Lewis. Mm-hmm. So Jerry Lee comes in, adds a backing pianist, I guess. Pianist.
Give some oomph to Carl.
Yeah, so they add him into the group and put him into the mix. Now, this is how it was supposed to start, was just a jam session, a recording session, and then basically they added Jerry Lee, and they're we'll do the recording, right? So I guess they're going through the whole bit, whatever like that. Next thing you know, you hear, and then you hear somebody get out and come, hey, boss, thank you very much. I'm here. Move over. Somebody go grab my caddy and park it for me. So next thing you know, our boy Elvis shows up. Mm-hmm. And he decides, hey, what's going on here, everybody? I just saw the lights on. I came by to see what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm out. I'm tooling around. It's Christmas time.
He had a chick with him.
He had a chick with him. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, I think.
Okay. Christmas, I'm wearing red for Christmas.
Nice. Right. I'm not wearing red, as you may see. This is kind of like a burnt orange, if you will. And I don't.
The red family.
I don't match. It's not really the red family. You know what? I'm repping Thanksgiving before it all happened. So you're welcome. Anywho, this recording session kind of falls apart basically and turns into like these guys milling around talking and BSing and whatever else. And then next thing you know, I think Elvis sits down at the piano and starts like tickling the ivory or something like that. I don't know. He has a girlfriend with him. Maybe,
he was tickling something.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah. Being
They're gonna put a big old X rating over your big old mouth, man.
You can't use those words, man. They'll cut it right out. They'll cut it out.
Yeah, I mean, being the musician that he is, he saw the piano, he sat down, and he just started playing. I mean, You're a young musician, you're super, super talented, and I'm gonna go there. I'm like, because I'm sure the musicians, they all have these egos. They're showing off, and he's got a chick with him, so he's showing off.
Yeah. So they, besides just milling around, talking and shooting the BS and whatever, they start playing songs and popping a little bit off in here. Now, these weren't really full-blown songs. They were just kind of like just...
Yeah, you know, like a minute of this.
Yeah, just trying a couple things out here and there, like, right?
Yeah, but, you know, through all this, Sam liked what he heard. Sam Phillips liked what he heard. So he hit record.
Yeah, which turned out to be brilliant on his part.
Brilliant. Yeah, so a lot of the songs, you know, were the songs of that time. It just seemed like, but the song list, they kept going back to gospel songs.
Yeah, a lot of gospel on that.
Well, I mean, think about, you know, they're all from the South. They're, you know, the Southern Baptist.
True.
And so that's what they grew up on.
Yeah.
So they were comfortable with that.
Yeah, Jerry Lee in particular, believe it or not, I don't know if you knew this. I actually didn't know this till I figured this out, till we did the research for this. Jerry Lee was raised big time gospel. And you know, religious and church-like and whatever, which I found odd when you find out what happened to him. But it was just one of those things where that, and then of course Elvis was, you know, that was his bread and butter. He loved gospel music.
That was
and I think Carl Perkins was kind of the same deal.
Mm-hmm. They were all raised on Southern gospel music, all the hymns. So yeah, so you have these three guys that, you know, just showing off, having fun. And I think too, I don't know if we ever talked about this, they had no managers with them. They had nobody there telling them what to do.
Yeah, this was just like all free for all. Like, nobody representing them was
and
there.
Nobody telling them what to play, whatever. They were just young musicians having fun, cutting it up. Yeah, it was raw. It was authentic.
Yep. Yeah.
And Sam liked what he heard.
Yeah. But before we get to that, cue back to the girlfriend that came back in with him, because she ended up being a big part of this whole brouhaha, if you will, where she ended up hanging out by the guys at the piano as Elvis was playing. Mm-hmm. And I forget her name. Do you remember her name?
Marilyn.
Okay. She ended up being sitting there and listening and just enjoying, you know, the tunes and whatever else. And in the meantime, now going back to Sam Phillips, so he's like, something unique is happening here.
But do you know Marilyn's backstory with Elvis?
No, I don't think. Oh, I kind of do, but go ahead, explain.
So she was a dancer in Las Vegas when Elvis was out there.
I think at the Tropicana, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it the Frontier? It might have been the old Frontier.
And Elvis, wherever Elvis was shooting, that after all the performances and shooting, there was a coffee shop, and so they started talking and everything. And Elvis liked her, so he wrote on a napkin, will you go out with me?
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
And I think at that time she was younger. She was like,
I think so, yeah. 19? I want to say 19.
I think a little bit younger.
I didn't think so.
He liked him young.
Well, I get that,
but he wrote.
She's already trying to trash him into the box already, but here we go.
I mean, just how sweet and innocent that at this point he's what, 20 years old?
Yeah, about to turn 21.
And he sees a girl
20.
in a coffee shop, you know, and like, you know, made small talk with her. They ran into each other a couple times, and he wrote on it a little napkin, will you go out with me? I just think that's sweet and innocent.
He might have actually been 19 now, I think about it. I can't do math, but whatever.
And then she flew back to from Las Vegas. She flew back to Memphis. So that's why she was in Memphis.
Okay.
She had to get permissions from her parents to stay. And the two moms, her mom and Gladys, talked.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, that was a big deal.
Back then? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what she was doing in Memphis at that Christmas time.
Yeah. So, but again, back to where she became this big deal, right? So she is there. Sam Phillips already hit the record button. So now he's thinking, this is really big. So here's where the Johnny Cash thing comes in. So this is our fourth player in this. Well, technically, I guess it's kind of the fifth player, isn't it? Like we got Elvis, we got Carl Perkins, we got Jerry Lee, we got the girlfriend. So Johnny Cash. Apparently, you tell the story because I've heard it differently.
So he was out Christmas shopping, or he was going to take his wife Christmas shopping. the first wife, Vivian. And when Sam liked what he heard, what was going on in the studio. He called Johnny Cash and he said, "Get down here to the studio."
Yeah.
So Johnny,
because not to interrupt you per se, but just because of that time, he was basically the first to kind of record them or not manage them, but like,
yep.
Yeah, he was that's why he wanted Johnny Cash down there.
Right. Yeah. Because
Right.
And from what I was reading, Johnny Cash was more in awe in awe with Carl Perkins' guitar playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnny Cash wasn't fazed by Elvis. He was more fazed. He liked the guitar. Carl Perkins more.
Well, Carl Perkins knew how to play a guitar big time. I mean, that was
good.
Yeah, and of course he had the Blue Suede Shoes hit before Elvis, and Elvis of course redid it. Here's the thing, but this is nighttime is and it's kind of a thing to understand here because of it was nighttime and they did all this. The story that I heard was that, and this was per Johnny Cash's book, which was not penned until I think the early to mid 90s, that he said, no, I was there all day. And then when he ended up in this whole quartet here, he was in awe of Carl, so he's watching him do the thing and what have you, and he really wasn't paying too much attention to wanting to maybe sing or join in or anything, which is one of the reasons why you apparently don't hear him on the recordings. But there's that controversy of like everybody in the world seems to think, and the story generally is like, no, he didn't get called in until later in the day.
Yeah, he was only there an hour or so, whatever.
Yeah,
and then he left to take his wife Christmas shopping.
But she's out waiting in the car by a few accounts. I think that we looked up.
Never keep a lady waiting if she wants to go Christmas shopping and she wants to go shopping. Yep. Chop. You're taking her shopping.
Yeah. So Johnny was on a short leash that night and got dragged off to go Christmas shopping apparently, and then he was gone.
The photographer.
They continued. Okay. So then
the famous photo, Todd.
How could I forget that? Whatever.
Todd.
Anyway, yeah. So part of the deal was that when Sam saw this happening, he contacted the newspaper and he said, "I need a photographer down here, stat or thereabouts." So this photographer showed up and took the
famous photo.
They took the famous photo that everybody sees. Now, a lot of people, of course, see it to the point of where you can only see the four gentlemen. But then some photos, there's a version of it where you can see his girlfriend in the photo. So the newspaper photographer gets a shot of what's going on or whatever. The next day, the article gets penned in the Memphis Press Skimmeter.
Ooh, that's a word.
Which is
what?
Press Skimmeter? Press Skimmeter. It's a hyphenated word.
I'm going to go with Memphis Press.
Whatever.
Press Boba.
You Memphians out there can probably tell us exactly how that's pronounced.
And I apologize. I can't say that word. I just can't.
I don't know. It's like as bad as our Cleveland Plain dealer. But that's that's plain, if you will, to to pronounce.
Oh my gosh.
But
oh my gosh. All day he's been like this.
Yeah, all day. So the article gets penned, and that's where the title of the article is $1 Million Quartet. That's how that got attached to those four guys in that whole session there. Little did they know that little article that came out that next morning because of all this just kind of was something that ended up taking off locally there for a while, but I don't really think it gained traction until much, much later, like decades later, right? Or am I wrong about this?
80, 81.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
And I know around that time too. I know somewhere in this house, I know the original cassettes are somewhere.
Huh.
There is a possibility that there's more recordings.
Yeah, well,
that are to be possibly, maybe someday will be released, and I believe those are at Graceland.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, especially with all this new stuff they keep finding now with the That's the Way It Is and Elvis on Tour and all that stuff. So that wouldn't be surprising at all.
There's got to be.
Oh, there has to be. Well, for years, for a long, long time, they had already, as far as we're getting off topic a little bit, but as far as all the Elvis on Tour video and the That's the Way It Is video, there were so many rumors for so long that were saying, hey, there's movie film that exists from those that are more than what you saw. Like there were former employees that were saying this, I guess, and they were verifying. I remember one time I heard the argument of like they were like buried in a salt mine in Kansas, the Elvis on Tour ones. I have no idea if that was true or not. I guess you could ask Boz Lerman, or I forget how to pronounce his name. I apologize.
A salt mine?
That's what I heard. That was a long time ago.
How did they get from there?
Who knows? I don't know. They have underground salt
mine. Were they brining them?
Maybe they were. I think they were pickling them. Maybe there was like a little hidden thing for whoever, like MGM or whoever the hell made the picture. I don't know.
Salt mine.
Think of it like as like the president has like these hidden little things all over the country, these little underground mines, like when shit hits the fan, like they go over and then
or how the highways can become landing things for planes.
Yes, that kind of crap. Who knows? So
I'm gonna stick with that. They were frying them or pickling them.
they probably were. That's probably how they came out so sweet. By the time we get them now here in 2025, probably actually 2026, I guess is probably when they're going to come out. I don't know, whatever.
They wouldn't be sweet. They'd be like salty.
If they were in salt mines, I guess they would be. But what if you wanted to take the pickles and like make them in sweet pickles? Do not do regular pickles.
You add sugar to them.
Exactly, but don't they start out as salty kind of like pickles, like an original like
a pickle's a cucumber. That's. So we're going to talk about food. So we're going to talk about recipes and food and how to make homemade pickles.
Delicious dish. I think we're going to talk about making these. We can go down the sweaty balls thing if we want to continue down that path, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Anyhow.
Yeah. I'm not going there.
But I don't know. So so basically that's the story. Yeah. That's if you like what you hear on this so far, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the ELVIS Impact and the $1 Million Quartet. Keep an eye out for more episodes that are coming up like this. Please like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do to be a part of this community and be a part of the channel. We'd love to have you. We'd love to hear your Elvis stories. We'd love to hear if you were anywhere around during that time, during the $1 Million Quartet. And again, don't forget, subscribing is for free. Every subscriber will be recognized as one of our EIPs. And once again... What does that mean?
What does that stand for,
Todd? What does that stand for? It doesn't really stand for anything.
Please tell the viewers.
Other than we love you as a subscriber. And EIP, basically, here it is. It sounds like VIP instead. So instead it's EIP. And EIP, because it rhymes and happens to kind of sort of similarly match the letters of the ELVIS Impact. So there you go. You're welcome. So yeah, one day we might be able to offer something nice for you to subscribe, but you get to wear that moniker. We'll recognize you as an EIP, and we'd love to have you.
Maybe one day we'll have a special emoji.
Maybe we will.
What would it be?
I don't know. Maybe like
a salt mine pickle. No.
A salt mine pickle. Okay. Maybe. Well. That could be true because actually we came up with it on this first episode.
That's why I brought it up, Todd.
Maybe the EIP will be a salt mine pickle. So there you go. Look forward to that, everybody. All right, we are out of here. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. Take care. See you next time.
Peace.
And how we liked him. This song is for Elvis. Come on, fellas, let's do it for him. This train is bound for glory, this train. This train is bound for glory, this train. This train is bound for glory. Nobody ride it but the righteous and the holy.